A brand presentation on Patagonia. Yvon Chouinard was the founder of Patagonia. He has been a rock climber since 14 years old. He is a widely known environmental activist and an outdoor enthusiast. His love for rock climbing is what eventually led to the creation of the outdoor retail chain Patagonia. Now, what is Patagonia? Patagonia is an outdoor gear and clothing company that is now one of the most well-known sustainable companies in the United States. Its name was chosen after Chouinard's transformative trip to the region of the same name in South America when he was young. Now, a timeline. Chouinard taught himself to be a blacksmith in the late 1950s. He made his own climbing tools with an old harvester blade. He could create about 2 pitons every hour and sold them for about $1.50 each. He also had his friend T.M. Herbert, who was a fellow climber, test the products in Yosemite. He sold his gear initially from his parents' backyard in Burbank, California, but for a time he also sold the gear out of the back of his car. In 1965, Chouinard partnered with Tom Frost, another fellow climber, and started Chouinard Equipment, the first iteration of Patagonia. Over on the left of the screen, you can see an example of a Chouinard Equipment baton hammer that was made. It retails for about $250 now if you were to buy one. By 1970, the company was considered the largest supplier of climbing hardware. In 1972, they started making their own clothing. The very first shirt they ever made was inspired by a rugby shirt that Chouinard bought in Scotland that prevented chafing during long climbs. The first Patagonia store opened in Ventura, California in 1973, and their home base still remains there to this day. Now on this screen, you can see the Great Pacific Iron Works, which was the very first Patagonia at the time Chouinard Equipment store. In 1975, Chouinard became the sole owner of the company after he and Frost disagreed on the future of the company. In the bottom of the screen, you can see the two men. Chouinard's main mission was to make dependable climbing gear that did not harm the earth. This was a problem that he and Frost ran into in the beginning of Chouinard Equipment. The pitons they were using were causing damage to the rock, so they quickly pivoted to aluminum chocks that did not harm the planet. And Patagonia's mission was making products sustainably, treating employees well, and engaging in corporate responsibility. This came from Chouinard's initial vision of a corporate business that did not cause harm to the environment. This mission in action. Patagonia has pledged 10% of all company profits and 1% of all sales to environmental conservation groups. They became a B Corporation in 2012, which means they have the highest standards of social and environmental performance. A few other examples of their mission in action can be found through their marketing campaigns, in which they raise awareness about climate change and many other environmental campaigns going on worldwide. A few products. Patagonia sells outdoor clothing and gear for climbing, surfing, skiing, snowboarding, fly fishing, and trail running, known as the silent sports. At the bottom of the screen, there are a few products depicted. On the left, we can see a $219 men's R1 Tech Face hoodie. This is designed for extended versatility in the mountains. In the middle, we have the men's Quandary pants, which sell for about $100. These hiking pants are designed for unconstrained movement when hiking. And on the far side, we have $300 Fora wading boots. These boots are specifically engineered for trails and rivers. A few more products. We have the Black Hole Pack. It's 25 liters. It sells for about $150, but you can be sure that it's going to be able to hold everything you'll need on your hikes and more. And on the far side, we have $20 Warm Wear Patch Kit. These are part of their Warm Wear initiative, in which they use old Patagonia items and make them into something new and resell them. These can be used to repair tears in tents, jackets, and many other items. And they're super easy to keep in your bag. Product sustainability. Many of Patagonia's products are made from recycled and organic materials. Additionally, the Wornwear program, as mentioned on the last slide, is a great way that Patagonia implements sustainability into their company. The program allows customers to return items for merchandise credit. The items are then repaired and resold to the Wornwear website. And on the bottom of the screen, you could see the actual first Wornwear store that opened where people could come in and shop Wornwear. This program was introduced for the very first time in 2017. Continued sustainability. In 2022, Patagonia's ownership was transferred from Cunard to two entirely new entities, the Patagonia Purpose Trust being the first, and the Holdfast Collective being the second. This move was to help ensure that Cunard's vision would be maintained into the future after he was no longer around, and that Patagonia's profit will continue to be used to fight climate change. At the bottom of the screen, you could see a graph depicting the ways in which the ownership was transferred to the two new entities.